Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Epoch Terraforming tutorial. And today we're going to do some borders. So what we're going to want to do is create a layer for these borders. And we're just going to want to take a brush like so. And we're going to want to carve out the areas that I'm just kind of doing this randomly. I like to use a darker color. We want to get that opacity up there. And I'll use a smaller brush. Just like so. Of course, on the real map, we'll put a lot more thought into it than this. Make this a nice long one. And we'll actually split it. So there we have our borders. This is actually we'll split this right there. And then what we're going to do, we'll create another layer, keep it below the borders. These will be our territories. We're going to go back to this brush. And then we'll say this territory is right near the coast, so why don't we use green in there? We'll use sort of a light green, and then we're going to use the jittering as well, so we'll put a darker green in there. And we'll go back to the color dynamics as before. Just take that. And we'll just get that in there like this. And as you can see, it's starting to jitter. It's giving it a little bit of a texture. And then we can go to another territory, switch up the color. Maybe this one's a little lighter green, and we'll switch it with a white, just to see what happens. It's kind of an odd color for the land, but that's okay. We can always change it. Let's say this middle area is sort of like an arid desert, so we'll use some tan, and then we'll use maybe some yellow in there. Just see what happens. Now this is under the borders, so we can sort of paint under them without any problem. If it bleeds over, don't worry, you can just erase that later. Here we go. Let's say this area is also very green. We'll try these. We'll try like a spring green or something. Darker. This is a little neon green. Maybe we'll take that down a notch. I can still see some water poking through, so I'll have to erase those later. And let's say we'll have a sort of red area. I don't know why, we'll just see what happens. Maybe it'll be sort of reminiscent of the fall or something like that. We'll see if it works out. Actually, that's kind of orange. We'll flip that. Alright, and then this big area, I'd like to do sort of brown, because that's where I'm going to put my mountain. So I'll have brown, and then maybe a beige. Actually, I'd like to go a little darker than that, or maybe a little lighter. That's a little too red, actually. There we go. Let's see what happens now. There we go. This kind of looks like puke. Anyways, so we'll get that in there. Now I'm just using the brackets keys to change my brush size on the fly. And top area, we'll just flip it around. It'll also be kind of brown, a little bit lighter brown. And this area right here will also be brown, but we'll do it much lighter. So it's beige. islands, they're fairly lush, so we'll keep them brown. And we'll keep the background color brown as well. And this island, we'll keep the background color black. And we'll just see what happens. And you can mess around with those jittering options. Like if I put it jittering at 50%, you get some seriously texturized areas there. So now we have our colors. Now the same thing with before, we're just going to apply the exact same sandstone texture. I just did Control F to do that. And as you can see, they are all texturized. Now if you want to hit Control F again, it'll just sort of increase the relief. But I think that's getting a little out of control right there, so I'm going to go back on that. So that concludes the second part, borders and